Hey guys, it's Melissa here from melissaopen.com. Welcome to Awaken Your Inner Awesomeness, a daily podcast devoted to spirituality and self-help. If you're new, I want to welcome you. If you're returning, welcome back. So today I wanted to talk to you about having faith when we can't see that things are happening in our lives. There's so many times in our lives when we're being called upon by the universe to have faith that things are happening behind the scenes when we can't see anything happening in the 3D. It might seem like the universe has abandoned you and you may feel like you want to quit or give up, and you may just have a bad attitude in general. I find that sometimes I have a tendency, and not as much anymore, this has been one of the things that I've had to work on within myself. But in the past, I tended to be a person who, when things didn't start going my way immediately, I would just want to quit. And I would get really mad and basically throw a little pity party for myself and list all of the ways that life sucked for me because things weren't happening the way that I thought they should. And what we don't realize is, number one, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that you aren't seeing. You're not seeing it in the 3D, but your entire spiritual team is working on things behind the scene for you, lining things up for you. And the other thing is, and you have to realize this, that when you get upset and you get mad and you start going into that pity party, and nothing ever works out for me and my life is awful, you're actually attracting more of that stuff into your life. If you believe in the law of attraction, which I do, I think it's a very powerful thing, what you focus on is what grows. So if you're choosing to focus on how things didn't turn out the way you wanted them to, and all the things you didn't get, and how life isn't fair, first of all, what a miserable pity party that is. Like, that's not fun to sit there and look at all of your life's failures or what you deem to be your life's failures, because sometimes things that we do in life aren't really failures. They're just lessons that we have to learn. So if you're sitting there focusing on every time your life went wrong, you're going to be absolutely miserable. And it's not going to help you in any way. I mean, the only reason to really look at the past is to say, what could I do better? What did I learn from this, and how do I keep from doing the same thing over and over again? Because the lessons are there to teach us to break those patterns of behavior that aren't serving us. And so if you are looking back and you're looking at your lessons and thinking, okay, what was I supposed to learn from this, and how can I do this differently in the future? That's what you're supposed to do. What you're not supposed to do is to go back to the past and beat yourself up over it and say, boy, I'm so stupid because I fell for this, or because I did this, or I trusted that person, or because I behaved in this way. That's not helpful. To beat yourself up over something that's already happened isn't helpful. So we're supposed to take the lessons, but leave the pain from the past behind. And if you are going to that place where something isn't working out the way you thought it would, so you immediately go to all the times in your life when things didn't work out for you, you're essentially manifesting failure again. What you need to focus on is that things are happening that you don't even know about. And I tell myself that every day. Trust me, there are times when I feel like, why am I doing this? Is this helping? I've had those moments. You've even heard me say that there are times when I'm not sure I want to keep doing a podcast, or I don't want to keep doing this because I'm not sure if it's helping. I mean, that was in the past. That when I first started, I would feel that way. And then I'd have people reach out to me and say, thank you, keep doing what you're doing. It's helping me. And I would say, oh, okay, no, this is why I have to keep doing this. This is my mission. And it's at those times that I have to really lean on the universe and, say to my spiritual team, look, I'm getting tired, I'm feeling worn down, and I know that if I'm supposed to keep doing this, I need some help. I need some motivation. I need to know that I'm where I'm supposed to be. Show me a sign. And in any of those times that I've done that, that's when people have come along to be like, thank you so much, And that was my sign, like, yes, okay, keep going. You've got this. And it was a slow build for me. Doing this podcast was like, I think I started off, with maybe like 5 or 10 listeners. And it's been a slow build, and I'm totally fine with that. But there was a point in time where I couldn't see the progress that I was making. I couldn't see it. And so I doubted it, because we're human, and that's how we are. We doubt ourselves sometimes. And so then again, I would have to go inward and say, okay, what's this about? And can you show me a sign? Am I on the right path? And I look for the answers. And what I've learned too is you don't have to look so hard for the answers. We can ask the universe to bring us signs or to bring us people to help us. And amazingly, we get them. We get the signs, we get the people. People show up. At least that's what's happened for me. People always show up. And I'm always surprised and amazed, even though I know I asked for that help. So I don't know why I'm amazed, but, we don't see that the universe is lining people up to be in our lives for a reason. When you're living your day-to-day life and everything is so busy and you're just going about your day, you don't always see that. You don't necessarily see that, hey, the universe just lined up this coach to come into your life and help you turn it around. Or, that you're going to be lined up with someone who's going to offer you the perfect job. All these things are crazy the way they happen because we don't see what goes on behind the scenes. We really don't. And when I think back in my life, there were things that I was manifesting that just showed up out of nowhere. And I couldn't believe it because I'm like, wait, I asked for that like a while ago and then I kind of forgot about it. And then it just shows up. It's like, oh, yeah, because there were a lot of things going on behind the scenes that I didn't see. And then all of a sudden, when it was ready, boom, it was there. So we have to really be in this state of having faith. And that's a difficult concept. Because what is faith? Faith doesn't mean that you know that everything is going to just magically be the way you want it. That's not faith. Because you saying everything has to turn out this way, that's you controlling that. Faith is knowing and understanding that there's a higher power that has your back, that is working things out for your highest good. Sometimes that means that things don't end the way that we want them to. So the end result wasn't what you asked for, but it ends up being for your highest good. And there have been so many times in my life where I didn't get what I asked for, and then afterwards I was so glad. It's like, thank you for not giving me exactly what I asked for, because instead I got what I needed, and it ended up being what I wanted. I just didn't know it. And it ended up being a lot better than what I was asking for. And sometimes, as I said, we think too small. We think too small. I will pray things like, I used to. Thank you for bringing me 100 new subscribers or, 20 new listeners in a week or whatever. And now I just leave it open-ended and I'm just like, you know what? Thank you for bringing me the people that I can help. Thank you for using me to help people heal. And thank you for using me to, for my purpose, which is going to help the planet, essentially. I just leave it more open-ended now because I know that I tend to downplay things and think too small. When I was younger, I was always kind of taught to be humble and modest and, we shouldn't. brag about things. And the truth is, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to have everything or wanting to, excel. There isn't anything wrong with that, but we just kind of have been taught that we shouldn't do that, or, that's wrong or whatever. So when you are asking for things, you might be asking too small. You might be thinking too small. Because many of us do. We don't value ourselves and we don't understand our own worth. And if we really understood our worth, we would understand that we could ask for the moon and the stars and expect to get it, because that's how worthy we are. But through this process we call life, where we've come here in our earthly forms, where everything is so heavy and everything is so confusing to us, because it's like we're weighed down. We're supposed to fly, we're supposed to soar, we're supposed to do all these great things, and we get here and it's like, oh, this is hard, It's like when you think about a class you signed up for to take, I think about college, and there were so many classes where I'm reading the description of the class and I would get so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a fun class. Like, it just sounds amazing. It's like right up my alley. It's going to be so interesting. It's going to help me and I'm going to love it. And then I get to the class and the professor talks like this in a monotone voice, Bueller, and it's boring as hell. And I feel like I'm not learning what I thought I was going to learn. And it's like a chore to keep my eyes propped open with toothpicks because it's so boring. And I'm so extremely disappointed. And I feel like in a way, we kind of came here excited for life. We were like, oh my gosh, we're going to get to go to Earth, and we're going to get to do all these things. We're going to learn all of these lessons, and it's going to be really cool. And we're going to meet these people. We were already together on the other side as souls. We're going to come here and be together, and it's going to be so much fun, and we're going to have a girls' day, and we're going to drink wine, and we're going to be best friends, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And we had all these plans. And then we got here, and I was like, what is this? This is not what I signed up for. I want to go home. Don't you feel like sometimes when you got here, you're like, oh, what is this? Why did I sign up for this? Ugh. This is really hard. This is not cool. This is not fun. This wasn't the class I thought it was. And it can feel that way when you're in the lessons of life. Those are the parts of life where we're learning the lessons, and it's always hard. And people sometimes feel like our spiritual team has deserted us when we're in those difficult lessons. We feel like I'm out here drowning by myself and nobody's here to help me. But the teacher never talks to you during the test. Doesn't mean the teacher isn't there. Teacher's there walking around right behind you, but not saying anything. Because part of the lesson is to trust. To trust that teacher is still there. Our team is still there, and our team is still guiding us. But for some reason, we've been conditioned in our lives that when we take a test, we can't ask for help. And that's not true. Now, let me give you an example. Like, I'll have students in class and they'll be taking a test, and I go over everything with them. But, as in anything in life, you can't always foresee every question they may have. So then they take the test, and then I get the test back. Like, no one asks any questions. I get the test back, and then they've all messed up sentences on one part because they didn't realize that one word was a person's name. And they'd never seen the word before because it was just a name that, this lovely textbook company decided they should put on a test, even though they've never seen this name in the book before. Because people who don't teach don't think about things like that. And, none of the students asked, what is this word? Because they didn't think they could. And it wasn't until in one class, too, one of the students said, what is this word? And I said, oh, that's just a name. Oh, And it totally changed that child's response, because then that child realized what that did in the sentence, like, oh, there's my subject. But they wouldn't have known that had they not asked the question. And all these other kids got that question wrong because they let that one word, mess them up. And they didn't ask for help. So when you're going through these tough lessons in life and it feels like nothing's going right and it feels like your team isn't with you, they are. And you can still ask them for help and keep asking them. They can't always magically make the answers appear to us because sometimes that's part of our lesson. But if we have faith and know that we're being taken care of, we can say, guide my steps, give me a sign, show me if I'm going on the right path. Is this right for me? And they will make answers appear. They will put us on the right path. They will do all of those things, but we have to ask. And for many of us, that's our lesson, is ask for help. How many of us, I know there's so many of you out there who don't ask for help. And I see it all of the time, and I know one of my listeners, she often posts on Facebook about that being a problem for her. Asking for help makes her feel like she's stupid or she doesn't know enough, and like it devalues her and like puts her self-worth down a little bit. And I understand that. And when I was in school, that was me. I didn't want to ask a question because one time I did have a teacher make me feel stupid, and I didn't like asking questions. But as an adult, I know now, like, nobody's going to ask it for me. I have to advocate for myself. And that even comes with my spiritual team too. They're not going to step in and just be like, well, Melissa, we put you on this path, and now we're turning you to put you on another. They're not going to necessarily tell me anything if I don't ask. If I say, am I on the right path? Can you show me a sign? And like I said, I got all these signs about when I was writing my book. Like, is this what I should be doing? Should I be writing a book? And all of a sudden, everywhere I looked, it was like, write your book. Now's the perfect time to write your book. So you will get signs if you ask for them. And if you're just in this space where you're like, I don't know, ask for help. Send me to people who can help me, who can put me on the right path, who can show me where I'm going. And there is nothing wrong with that. I've worked with coaches before, and it's great. Because sometimes my own brain isn't enough. Like, I need somebody else who's been there to say, hey, this is what I did. This is what worked for me. It's great to get guidance from people. And you can get guidance from your own team as well. And you can get guidance in so many ways. We can meditate and we can ask for guidance and sit and listen. And that's something, some people say, well, I sit and I don't hear anything or I don't get anything. Whenever I first started doing that, I didn't get anything either. I'd be like, crickets. It takes practice. Well, once you learn how to quiet that brain and tap into your intuition, you start getting answers faster and more comes through. It really is all about practicing. The problem is, when you're trying to tap into your intuition, you're trying to tap into like a higher vibration. And our normal state of being is usually we're not vibrating that high because we've had to deal with so much crap throughout our day or whatever. So the first step is you've got to quiet that brain. You've got to learn how to relax and just let your brain turn off in a way, if you will. Like, you've got to be able to shut it down. And that takes practice. But it is possible. So just practice doing that, sitting in stillness with yourself, doing a meditation to get answers. Journaling is a good way, because sometimes what I find is when I start writing, things just start coming to me and I know it's not my own thoughts. And even if you want to say, okay, it's my thoughts, but I'm writing all of this down, you may still get guidance. You may look back and see what you wrote and be like, oh my gosh, wow, that's the answer. And when that happens, honestly, it's because your team is giving you the information that's feeding it to your brain. And it feels like you're just sitting there and thinking and writing things down, but it's really coming from your higher self and from your spiritual team. So don't doubt that you can get those kinds of answers. You can also use cards. The oracle cards are great for just getting answers to questions. I do that for myself too. And my clients will tell you every time I work with people, when we do, whether it's coaching or readings or even Reiki, because I'll pull cards for people at the end of their Reiki session too. And the card that comes out, we just start laughing. We're like, oh my gosh, because it's exactly what I told the person, like, you need this, or this is going on, and you need this. And then we pull a card, and then we just start laughing. We're like, that was perfect. That was spot on. It's exactly what we were talking about. And that's no coincidence. It happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And that's kind of what I love about working with the universe, is everything lines up. And you get all these synchronicities, like they're trying to give us signs and guidance. We just have to take it. Well, guys, just all I can say is keep having faith. Again, faith doesn't mean that everything turned out the way I asked it to. It just means that you know that you're being taken care of and everything is going to work out perfectly for you. And you may be saying, well, how is it working out perfectly if I don't get what I want? Because sometimes what you want isn't for your highest good, but you will get what is for your highest good, and it will be perfect for you, and you will be happy. You just may not see it right now, but when it all comes to pass and it happens and you're in the moment, you're like, oh, yes, this is exactly what I needed. So keep the faith and keep talking to your team, because they are listening and they're there for you and they are helping you and guiding you. And if you want to work with me, I would love to work with you, and we can get you some guidance, get you figured out, I don't know whether it's a coaching and we get you on the right path again, or just help you to see where you're at and where you need to go and what you need to do to get there. Or if it's a Reiki session because you're feeling kind of blah and you want your energy back up again and you want to feel good again, you can do a Reiki session. Just go to my website, melissaoatman.com. You can look at the services I offer, and I have a description of each of them. And when you're ready to book, you can simply contact me. All my contact information is in the description to the podcast. It does not matter how you reach out to me. I have people message me on social media. People call me. They text me. They will send me an email. Whatever you want to do is perfect. I would love to work with you. And I wanted to pull a card for you today. So let's see what card you got. It is from the Teachings of Abraham deck. And the card today is, no one else needs to know this. It is not necessary for even one other person to understand the laws of the universe, for you are the attractor of your experience, just you. I love that. So to me, what that says is, we don't have to share everything we're going through with everyone, and they may not understand it anyway. It's all about you. You are the one that has the power to attract everything that you want to see in your life. You just have to focus on what you want to see and focus on being positive and keeping the faith with that. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being with me. As always, if you like this podcast, please share it with others. Please subscribe. Please leave me some stars on iTunes or a review from wherever you're listening. That helps me so much. And I just want to thank you so much for those of you who do that. I really, really appreciate it. And also, if you would like to subscribe to my website, if you haven't done that already, just go over to melissaoatman.com. Click on the subscribe button and enter your email, and you will receive a free morning and evening meditation from me just for signing up. And I will never, ever, ever send you 50,000 emails. I hate that myself. I only send emails once every, few months just to let you know if I'm having a sale or if something new is going on. Otherwise, I don't usually send out a lot of emails. So it was just a way for me to be able to gift you with a free morning and evening meditation. Well, thank you again for joining me. Don't forget to follow me on social media. I go live on Facebook, and I also add videos to Instagram. I'm going to start going live on Instagram too. I just haven't done it yet, but I am going to do that. So follow me there. And I hope that you have a beautiful day with so much love and blessings coming into your life that you just look at yourself and say, I can't believe this is my life. I hope that you feel that much love in your life. I will talk to you again soon. Until then, take care, be gentle with yourself, and I love you guys. Bye-bye.